Hi everyone. We have a bit of an update from Ethiopia today. The Abiy regime has declared a state of emergency in the Amhara region. It, to be honest, it didn't come as a surprise because yesterday the president of Amhara region wrote a letter to Abiy Ahmed, and the main content of the letter was a request for Abiy to send in federal forces to the Amhara region because, according to the letter, the security situation in Amhara had deteriorated beyond the capability of the region, and therefore that it needed assistance from federal forces. And of course, anybody who has been following Ethiopian politics and what has been happening in Amhara will know that the letter is just a sort of an attempt to give a veil of formality to what Abiy has been doing in Amhara anyway, because the federal forces had been engaged in Amhara in a very long time in some sort of skirmishes and low-key war against the Fano militia. So federal forces have already been in Amhara for a long time. And at any rate, Abiy doesn't need the permission or the request of the Amhara region to send his forces. Abiy, the dictator who could do whatever he wants, and he has indeed been doing whatever he wants in not just in Amhara but everywhere in the country. So the letter that the president of the Amhara region sent to Abiy yesterday probably came at the request of Abiy, because Abiy, like I told you, wanted to give the whole operation a semblance of legality. So he would have told the Amhara region to write him a letter so that everything happening in Amhara would seem that is done in accordance with the constitution of the country. So. But anyway, what is the matter in Amhara? I think for those of you who might be uninformed generally about the security situation in Amhara, the Fano paramilitary militia group has been in some sort of conflict with the regional government in Amhara and the federal government. Now, why is it that the Fano has been in conflict with them? I will come to that a bit later, but maybe I will tell you a little bit about who the Fano are. So the Fano, like I said, are a paramilitary group. They are based in Amhara, and during Abiy's and Isaias's war on Tigray for the past 3 years, the Fano has been on the side of Abiy. So they fought against Tigray with Abiy and with Isaias, and especially with Isaias because Isaias has a huge control over Fano, ranging from training the Fano paramilitary group to providing logistical support, material support, and financial support. And there is actually a lot of reason to believe that they operate under the command of Eritrean forces. And during the war on Tigray, the Fano is responsible for ethnic cleansing in Western Tigray, ethnic cleansing in southern Tigray as well, and for evicting of Tigrayans in the eviction is sort of integral part of the ethnic cleansing. And the Fano, in collaboration with the Amhara militia, continue to occupy Western Tigray and southern Tigray, and generally the Fano is responsible for some of the most heinous crimes in Tigray, including burning of human beings alive, to throwing bodies into rivers. So in Western Tigray, they would take Tigrayans to detention centers, and they would murder people and to make sure that there is no trace of the crime that they commit, they would throw bodies into rivers so that there is no evidence of their criminality. And they have also been engaged in the exhumation of bodies and in all sorts of extremely atrocious crimes, the Fano paramilitary group. So where did the disagreement between Fano and the federal regime or the Amhara, well, I think the Amhara regime is an extension of the federal regime, so we could just talk in terms of conflict between Fano and the federal regime. So if they were together during the war on Tigray, why do they have sort of a difference now, and why are they in some sort of conflict? I think that goes back to the agreement between the Tigray forces and the Ethiopian regime signed in Pretoria, South Africa, and in Kenya. One of the principal elements of the agreement is that outside forces in Tigray must withdraw. So the Fano, according to the agreement, the Fano are expected to leave Western Tigray and Southern Tigray. But of course the Fano has refused to do that, to honor the terms of the agreement. And so in defiance and contradiction to the terms of the agreement, Fano continues to occupy Western Tigray and Southern Tigray. And that is one source of disagreement between the federal regime and the Fano militia. Now, there is no strong reason to believe that the federal regime actually wanted Fano to leave Western Tigray, and in fact Abiy Ahmed, the dictator of Ethiopia, has given multiple signals that he is happy with the Fano remaining in Western Tigray, but because he has to honor the terms of the agreement, because a lot of things, including Western support and other aspects, are conditioned on him honoring the terms of the agreement. He has had to say certain things which implied that either he would conduct a referendum in Western Tigray, or that the Amhara forces should leave. He hasn't quite said that explicitly, but he has given some sort of mixed signals, again to placate his Western donors, but those mixed signals haven't sat well with the Fano, and the Fano have been very, very paranoid about that, and that is the source of the agreement between the federal government, the federal regime. This government is not a word that people should use when describing the Ethiopian regime. So between the Abiy regime and the Fano paramilitary group, and at the result there has been for the past 4 months, I believe, some sort of low-key fighting, skirmishes, and conflicts between the two, and as a result, the Abiy regime has been forced to say that it's going to disarm the Fano, and it's going to disband special forces in Amhara and other regions as well, but mainly in Amhara. So that is where the source of the conflict comes from. And for the past couple of days, the conflict has really intensified, and if reporters are to be believed, I think yesterday Reuters has said that the Fano control Lalibela, one of the historical towns in Amhara, I think the biggest tourist attraction, and apparently the Fano have taken control of not just the city but also the airport, and it looks like that the Fano also has taken control of Gondar, the city, if not the city itself, at least its environs. And generally the Fano has been making some sort of headways and advances the last couple of days, and I think the Abiy regime is now panicking, and that is the reason why it has been forced to issue a state of emergency today. Now, in actuality, the state of emergency doesn't mean much, because Abiy will always do whatever he wants to do anyways, and he has always been doing whatever he wanted to do: jail people, muzzle journalists, and whatever he wanted, literally. So the state of emergency doesn't actually give him additional power, because he had all the power that the state of emergency would have otherwise given him. And I think the reason why he has felt compelled to issue state of emergency today is just for some sort of political purposes, to make sure that Western donors, for instance, don't accuse him of anything. So, for instance, if he were to jail people that he thinks are getting in his way in Addis Ababa, he could always say that, well, it's because of the state of emergency, and the state of emergency gives me additional powers. But other than that, it doesn't really mean much. State of emergency in Ethiopia doesn't mean much, because again, it's a dictatorship, and it always does what it wants to do anyway. So that is the current state of affairs in Ethiopia. The situation in Amhara does seem to be very, very volatile, and it could go. I think nobody could tell where the situation could go. It's very fluid and volatile, but I thought I would bring you an update in terms of what is happening in the region. And so that was that, and until I see you next time, bye bye.